Hello everybody and welcome to the 2021 Five Nations British Rallycross Championship Season Review. My name is Tom Brooks and I'll be helping guide you through the action of what has been an exhilarating year once again in the British Championships. We've got plenty of races to show you. We're going to be going through the categories round by round, including Supercars, Super Retro, the RX 150 buggies, to name just a few. Anyway, let's kick off with the Supercars and go over to our host, Sam Lloyd.
Well, this is today's modern supercar, a beast in itself, and fantastic to see that number one because, of course, Mark Donnelly defending his title in 2021.
Exactly as Sam said, Mark Donnelly, of course, the reigning champion after something of a short 2020 campaign, of course, owing to the COVID-19 pandemic sadly slowing things down for the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship. Thankfully, we're back up to speed in 2021 with lots of characters up and down the field to talk about. Of course, Mark Donnelly is one of them, but we also need to mention the likes of Julian Godfrey. Of course, the multiple British champion is held in very high esteem within the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship, but he would have a very close competitor up and down the field this year, and that is the 126 of Roberts Vitols. Vitols won the Super 1600 Championship in 2020 and got a prize drive in the Supercars this year. The Latvian driver was in emphatic form throughout 2021 and really brought the fight to the front. Anyway, let's bring you coverage now of the final from round one at Lydden Hill.
The grid is formed for the Supercar final. This is the real focus of attention. The fastest cars, star drivers, it is all action, and in terms of picking a winner, it is wide open. Mark Donnelly then, the man lining up on pole position with Julian Godfrey, Ollie O'Donovan with him at the front, Tristan Avondon, Roberts Vitols on row 2, Derek Tohill, Conor McCluskey, Mike Seller, row 3. The lights are about to change as we go racing. Donnelly with dramas doesn't get off the line. That's the reigning champion out of it, and it is going to be Ollie O'Donovan who hits the front as they dive down towards Chessons for the first time. Mark Donnelly limps away, trying to drive round and get points if nothing else. But look at that, a battle pack of 4. Godfrey is second, Avondon runs third, and Derek Tohill is the man from the third row of the grid in fourth place. But Double OD, Ollie O'Donovan leads the way. The Fiesta ahead of the older Fiesta of multiple champion Julian Godfrey. He's under attack from multiple Supernational champion Tristan Avondon, and then Triple Irish champ Derek Tohill next in the queue. So you've got some real star drivers in that group. Now remember, they've managed to gap the opposition because the rest jokered on the opening lap. These drivers have got to serve the joker yet. And amongst those to keep an eye on, number 126, the 18-year-old Latvian Roberts Vitols, who's come out of the junior categories. Tristan Avondon bails out of that leading gaggle. He goes for the joker. Mark Donnelly has parked it, so he's out of the race. And here, champions both, Ollie O'Donovan and Julian Godfrey. Fiestas both, admittedly old and new. And O'Donovan leads the way up Hairy Hill once again. Julian Godfrey is there in second place. O'Donovan had that clash with Andy Scott early on in the day. Julian Godfrey has just been getting on with life. Had all sorts of mechanical woes here at the back end of last season. But he's bouncing back, and that car just goes on and on and on. It's not exactly the youngest on the grid, but it's still a very quick car. Now there is Roberts Vitols then, the Citroen, through the loose section. He's done the joker. Now he's storming his way back into the mix. As all of the cars from that leading gaggle have to joker, he can either buy back time or even better, buy back a place. Now O'Donovan is out on his own. Looks like Derek Tohill is in second place in the background. Yes, he is. And Roberts Vitols is third. And Vitols is driving the wheels off that. First time out in a supercar. And the Latvian driver who managed to get around all the travel dramas last year to come over and take part in the championship. We've lost Julian Godfrey. Godfrey has parked it. Julian Godfrey out of the race. So there, Conor McCluskey comes downhill. That's Roberts Vitols going through paddock. He's closing onto the back of Derek Tohill as Ollie O'Donovan now goes for the joker. Now where is this going to put him in relation to Roberts Vitols then? The answer is behind him! Vitols has done it! Fantastic! From the second row of the grid, belying his lack of experience in a supercar, Roberts Vitols then hits the front, throws the car round the devil's elbow. He gets back onto the power. He makes the climb up the hill now. Ollie O'Donovan is the man with all the pressure. What can he do to find a way through into the race lead to win round one? of the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship as he comes once more through paddock. Robert Vitols then has driven brilliantly all day long. He may not have been quickest in any of the qualifying rounds, but he is in front when it counts. So O'Donovan, he's won the championship before. He is very definitely one of the stars of the supercar class. Can he live up to that bill matter now? Can he close and pass Vitols? Sideways around the devil's elbow, trying to keep up the revs, keep up the momentum all the time. Third now is Tristan Upperton as Vitols lets the back of the car wag as he comes up towards the hairpin. Smoke pouring off the tyres as O'Donovan gets the run down the hill. Round 1 of the championship, round 2 tomorrow here at Lynch. So it's a great weekend of action, great weekend of mileage as well for the drivers. A double header to kick off the season. Vitols then, with the water squirting onto the screen to try to make sure he's got some visibility, turns his way out of the devil's elbow, but it looks as though this is now going to be a win, because if anything, he's getting away from, rather than being caught by, Ollie O'Donovan. Robert Vitols, who first came to prominence only a few seasons back in this championship in the junior class, and he comes now down towards the chicane at paddock. You can see how much commitment O'Donovan is putting into this. He is absolutely on the ragged edge. Checkered flag as Robert Vitols then comes through to score victory in the first round of the championship, and he is absolutely delighted.
You're a cool customer, buddy. Well done. You must be thrilled.
Thank you. Yeah, today I just got into this car and did my first run. Yeah, thank you. I have to say thanks to the boys, mechanics who worked so hard to fix some issues we had. Thanks to my family, and thanks for all the supporters who are coming down here to support. Yeah.
I have to say, Lydden Hill is going to hold very special memories for you.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Well done.
There was a new category this year in the shape of the Electro class, Fiat 500 underpinnings with electric power units. It was Dan Welch that claimed the title after winning round 1 and finishing third in round 2. Dave Halford was the round 2 winner, but it was Rob Gibson, who we're used to seeing in a Metro 6R4, who finished second in the standings, with Charlie Fraser claiming third. In the Group B and four-wheel drive category, Andy Grant took his Ford Focus to a clean sweep of the 3 rounds to score maximum points. Steve Harris in the non-championship Ford RS200 Evo took second in all 3 events, with Bradley Sampson finishing second in the standings in his Mitsubishi Lancer Evo following a very consistent season. The BMW MINI class returned to action in 2021, and it was Dave Bellerby who took over the car from his daughter Drew while she was on maternity leave. At Lynn Hill, Dave won in emphatic style, brilliant performances he put in the supercharged BMW Minis to take the checkered flag, but he wouldn't be behind the wheel for long as Drew returned to action for round 3 back in Pembrey. It was a very closely fought competition out on track, but here in the semi-finals it sadly all came unstuck for Drew whilst she was out on track. You can see her making a move here on Steve Brown, going up the inside into the hairpin, a bit too much curb on the inside and a spectacular rollover in the car as well. You can see her here on board as we go up the inside. Again, just that sausage curb on the inside, rolling the car over. Drew thankfully emerging unscathed following that incident as she got out of the car. The red flag, of course, thrown in that semi-final, and we had to resume racing action a little bit later on in the day. And it allowed Steve Brown, the 1-2-3, to go to 2 victories in Wales, racking up maximum championship points. A brilliant result for the 1-2-3 in the yellow machine. Drew then handed the keys back to her father Dave as we went to Knockhill in Scotland, and Dave managed to get a victory in round 5, but sadly technical gremlins in round 6 resulted in him not being able to achieve a clean sweep that weekend. That allowed Tom Constantine to come over the timing line and take the checkered flag. And applause from Dave out there on track as well. A fantastic sportsman he is, as we got ready to go into the one last hurrah, the final round of the season at Lynn Hill. Dave Bellerby took the victory in the final. It was a fantastic day's worth of racing as we went into the sunset at Lynn Hill, but it wasn't enough to keep Stephen Brown from taking the championship in the BMW Minis. A great performance from the 1-2-3 after a fantastic 2021 season.
Every time I interview you, you've got the biggest smile on your face. You love it, don't you? You love racing it.
Anything. I love motorsport. It's just getting out. We've got a great team behind us and a faultless car all year. We've been there picking up the pieces and it's just been a great year.
Back to the action with the supercars. It's the round 2 final at Lynn Hill on Sunday. As the lights went to green, Roberts Vitols struggled to get away, meaning Julian Godfrey had to take evasive action down towards the first corner, whilst Ollie O'Donovan jokered. And on the normal lap, it was Andy Scott versus Roger Thomas. Thomas getting himself ahead, and then Derek Tohill getting his elbows out and going up the inside. A bit later on in the race, here's Ollie O'Donovan going up the inside of Derek Tohill for second place. Those two coming to contact on more than one occasion as they come up the top of the hill. And keep an eye out for Andy Scott here in the background in the fluorescent orange and yellow machine. Dives it up the inside. A very late move there on Ollie O'Donovan. Lots of contact, and that wasn't the last of it either. Down the bottom of the hill, Scott on the inside, O'Donovan on the outside. Scott eventually having to get out of the throttle, and the Irishman going through into then third position. You can see a replay of that incident up the inside. Really late move there from Andy Scott. The door shut by Ollie O'Donovan, and certainly no love lost between those two drivers, especially after they had come to blows. Scott millimetres away from the tyre barrier on the inside. We can see with this onboard shot here, contact, bang, bang, tyre barrier out of the throttle and back onto the racetrack there once again. Here you can see Tristan Ovenden with broken suspension right to the end of the race. That was a big shame for him. He then got punted round by Roger Thomas as those two came to blows in the final corner of the final lap. A disappointing end to both of their races after some relatively strong showings. As you can see there, a look on the inside as well at that incident. Thankfully, they would manage to make their way to the checkered flag as it came out, and after round 2, it was reigning champion Mark Donnelly in the lead of the championship after some strong qualifying performances, Ollie O'Donovan being second, and then the round 2 winner Derek Tohill finishing in third place with Roberts Vitols in P4 in the standings. You can see the delight there for the Irishman Derek Tohill. And the question was, would he be able to repeat that feat for round 3's final at Pembrey in Wales? Well, into the first corner, there was lots of contact further down the field. Ovenden into the back of Vitols, into the back of O'Donovan as well. The upshot is that Julian Godfrey emerged in the lead. And that is where the multiple British champion would stay right until the checkered flag of the final in Wales. After the conclusion of that final, it was Ollie O'Donovan who moved to the top of the standings, with Roberts Vitols, the debutant this year, moving up to second. Derek Tohill dropping to 5th in the standings, but only 11 points separating the top 6 drivers. A very exciting prospect for later in the season. Keeping it in the O'Donovan family, it was Patrick O'Donovan who won the first 3 rounds of the RX 150 Buggies Championship, but he didn't have it all his own way. In round 4 at Pembrey, he stumbled, with guest driver Tommy Caldwell winning on track and Steve Jones taking maximum points. At Knockhill in Scotland, it was a repeat of the Caldwell-Jones scenario at the front, whilst O'Donovan had a really difficult round. Off-track excursions and then mechanical problems sadly denying him from claiming the checkered flag. As you can see, though, at Lynn Hill, it was O'Donovan who became the champion after getting himself back on top. Jones finishing in a very close second position, with Billy Alexander taking 3rd in the standings in his first year of competition in RX 150s.
No, I'm really happy. I was frantically working out the points there at lunch to see how many I'd have to get in the final to the championship, but from what I can work out, I think I've done it. So I'm happy about that. This year I've won every final in the buggy in Lyddon, so it must be something about Lyddon and luck. Lucky Lyddon, you know, but no, I'm really, really happy to get back onto the top step of that podium.
Over to the retro class, a chance to see some of the older cars in Rallycross still competing in the modern day. In the first 2 rounds, it was Terry Moore versus Tony Lynch. Terry in the Mini, Lynchy in the Toyota MR2. And in terms of the standings after the first few rounds of the season, it was Moore who took 2 wins at Lydden Hill and then over into Pembrey. Steve Cousins came to the front and took a win along with Tony Lynch, a victory that gave him a 12-point lead. Lynch and Simon Hart were the only 2 drivers to make the trek up to Knockhill in Scotland. However, it was dramatic affair as ever.
Here potentially as well, and that is a big problem, I'm afraid to say, for Tony Lynch and Simon Hart in the retro class. Tony Lynch's MR2 is on his side and Simon Hart's 137 is facing the wrong way, coming through the gravel then.
Mechanical problems for Lynchy on day 1 were compounded with that roll on day 2, as we can see on board with the shot here then, just getting it a bit too sideways on the gravel, clipping the tyre barrier on the outside. A very second-hand Toyota MR2. Thankfully, Lynchy emerging from that okay. And the car righted by the marshals up in Scotland as well.
What a weekend, isn't it? What a weekend, Sharon. Started off okay yesterday, had a good run, then it went on fire. We took it home, we fixed it, we come back, and then lo and behold, for no reason at all, went and rolled it, and I can't tell you why. I've no explanation. I'm fine, the car don't look so good, but listen, I'm all right, and that's the main thing, innit? A lot of people put a lot of effort into me, and they know I appreciate it, so I'm not going to get all emotional again, but they know I appreciate it. I put a massive effort in. I've got the best team in the paddock. I've got great sponsors, and we'll have to see what we're going to do for the last round that's left.
Well, that, of course, left Simon Hart to take top honours at Knockhill in Scotland, meaning he was at the top of the standings going into the final round at Lydden Hill. And speaking of that final round, it was a toe-to-toe battle with Terry Moore in the Mini and Steve Cousins in his Citroen AX. Cousins getting the better of Moore on that occasion and coming across the timing line to take the checkered flag and the win in the final for the retro class. However, despite those strong results, it wasn't quite enough to start the championship challenge of Simon Hart, as he did enough to claim the title at Lydden Hill.
You are newly crowned champion. How does that feel?
I'm just ecstatic. I'm just really pleased. No, it's a long championship and it's interesting. The car's doing all right. It's not the fastest car in the world, but it goes and it keeps going. Poor little thing gets a sound thrashing, but it's no, I'm really happy.
The 2021 Supernational Championship was essentially a 3-way battle between Jason Bleasdale, Paige Bellerby and Slamir Volok. You can see Bellerby getting the initial launch in the final for round 1 at Lydden Hill, but a technical problem meant she retired, leaving Jason Bleasdale to come across the timing line to take the victory and first blood of the new season. But would he be able to repeat that feat for round 2 on Sunday? That was the question we were all asking, and we got our answer, because it was Paige Bellerby who managed to fight back after that disappointment in the first round, finishing on top ahead of Slamir Volok. It was the Lotus ahead of the BMW on this occasion at the early point in the season. Volok, of course, we know has a very quick car and a very aggressive driving style, but would the pole be able to get himself at the top of the order before the season reaches its conclusion? You can see here as round 2 came to a finish, it was a great result for Bellerby, and would she be able to repeat that feat in round 3? Well, you can see her coming across the timing line to do exactly that at Pembrey in Wales. Followed by Jason Bleasdale in second place, and then Slamir Volok had something of a difficult day at the office. Not suited to his car was the Pembrey circuit, and it meant he was really on the back foot against the lighter and nimbler Lotuses here, with Bleasdale getting himself ahead on this occasion. It got really interesting in the mid part of the Supernational season, and it did mean that going into the bookend of the championship at Knockhill, it was going to be very exciting. And you can see here that Bleasdale managed to get himself up to the sharp end of the field, taking 2 victories in round 5 and 6, but it was Bellerby versus Volok. Those are the 2 drivers who came to blows in Scotland.
Green light and go. Good start from Volok on the outside of the front row. Look at Bellerby though. She's away like a stabbed rat down towards the first corner, side by side with Volok and Bellerby then down towards T1, and Volok tries to squeeze Bellerby. Contacted to the first corner. That was really aggressive from Slamir Volok.
So, no love lost there then, and things only really got worse for the pair as we went into round 7 at Lydden Hill. You can see coming up the top of the hill, Volok on the inside here, Bellerby on the outside, but keep an eye on the exit of the hairpin. Bellerby goes up the inside, bang, bang, contact, tyre wall, both drivers off and out of the race.
On top bench, I come on inside, come outside, and Paige came. So Paige Bellerby came on my right hand side, and we had a contact, and I ended up in a tyre wall quite hard. So I'm okay. That's the main thing. It's what it is.
Well, testament to the safety of these modern cars. You can see the incident on board here from Bellerby. She goes up the inside, carries about her normal racing line, into the tyre wall. And a bit of fruity language there from Bellerby as well. Amazingly, her car was able to continue in the restarted final, and it was a battle between herself and Jason Bleasdale for the win. And also in terms of the championship, it would be a deciding outcome in favour of Jason Bleasdale as he came across the line to win round 7 and be crowned the 2021 Supernational Champion.
Well, this is actually my first full season in Rallycross and first full season driving the car, so I didn't expect to be straight away winning a championship, so it's beyond words.
As the season progressed in the supercars, there was a friendly rivalry emerging at the top of the order between Robert Vitols, Julian Godfrey and Ollie O'Donovan, and that rivalry soon turned into a bit of argy-bargy in the pit lane as well. Thankfully, though, it was confined to there rather than the racetrack. Anyway, for the final for round 4, Vitols failed to get away from the lights after stalling his C4 on the grid, and down towards the first corner it was O'Donovan with the early advantage, with Steve Hill and Ovenden coming to blows in the first turn on a very wet and greasy Knockhill circuit. It was a very incident-packed final as well, and whilst others suffered problems, such as Mark Donnelly, who retired from the round 5 final and then gifted his car to Godfrey for the final for round 5 on Sunday, others ended the race in the gravel trap, like Mike Seller at turn 1, and here with Steve Hill just out of turn number 2 as well. And slowly making his way up the grid and up the order whilst others faltered was the Latvian driver Robert Vitols, continuing to impress in his first season by claiming the checkered flag and the win in the final.
Drivers then lined up on the grid, ready for the final of round 5 of the 5 Nations British Rallycross Championship here at Knockhill. Ready to race, board is on. Supercars final. Green light and we're racing. Good launch there from Tohill. Great from O'Donovan off the front row. Look at Steve Hill coming through on the inside as well of Julian Godfrey down towards the first corner. Tohill leads into the first turn, followed by O'Donovan. Look at Julian Godfrey on the outside now of Steve Hill. He's up into 3rd place. Great start then from Hill. So it's Tohill then from O'Donovan, from Godfrey, from Hill, from Ovenden, from Vitols, who's made a really poor start off of that second row of the grid, and that's compounding a challenging day so far for the young Latvian driver. Through the gravel they go for the first time of asking. Mike Seller brings up the rear of the field as they come through onto the tarmac. Who's going to go Joker at the end of the first lap? I think Hill may do. O'Donovan certainly has done as he comes through that hairpin bend. And onto the start-finish straight he'll go as he negotiates his way through the chicane. He's just going to emerge out ahead of Mike Seller, or at least side by side with Mike Seller. In fact, he's got the overcut and gets himself ahead of the number 69. Hill also went through on that Joker, as I mentioned, going through there as well. So now it is advantage Derek Tohill as he sits a little bit further ahead of Julian Godfrey. 3.1 seconds it was over the timing line last time around, and this would be a brilliant result here for Derek Tohill if the Irishman can do the business in the final. Look though at Robert Vitols in the 126 all over the back of Tristan Ovenden as he tries to find his way past the Citroen DS3 driver. Ovenden goes Joker at the end of lap 2 then. That gives a bit of clear air, thankfully then for Vitols, as Ovenden negotiates his way through the hairpin. Bit of understeer through there, runs it a bit wide. That won't help his drive onto the straight as he negotiates his way through the chicane and emerges behind Steve Hill there. So Ovenden out of contention for a podium result as it stands at the moment. Here though is Ollie O'Donovan. He made his Joker in the early stages and now he's got to wait for the race to come to the Northern Irishman. Let's see whether it does though. On the gravel we are though, meanwhile, with Julian Godfrey and Robert Vitols. The Latvian driver has really got the bit between his teeth and he's all over the back of the DS3 here, down into the braking zone, into the tri-oval hairpin. So, can Vitols find his way past Julian Godfrey, the 6-time champion, before the end of this race? Onto the start-finish straight we go, and you can see there that Godfrey has just got enough straight-line speed to keep the 126 of Vitols at bay for the time being. But look how hard Vitols is pushing on the brakes into that first corner. He's really got the bit between his teeth and is trying to find his way through. but can he do so? That's the crucial question. There's only 2 laps now remaining here. Onto the gravel. This is where Vitols seems to be so much stronger than Julian Godfrey at this stage in the race. And I have to say, regardless, it's a remarkable drive from Godfrey as the race leader Tohill goes joker then at the end of lap 4. Now, how is this going to play out for Tohill? He had a 4.6 second advantage over Godfrey over the timing line last time around. Godfrey, of course, has not made his joker then, so emerges in front, as does Robert Vitols, who has also not made his joker then in this race. So let's see how it's going to play out. You know that Vitols, of course, is going to drop behind the race leader of, or the effective race leader, I should say, of Derek Tohill at the moment, but of course it's all set to change hands. So now it's Vitols who leads the way then, as Godfrey, of course, jokered on that last lap, unsighted to us on the screen. So Godfrey then went joker, and that released Vitols into the race lead, and Derek Tohill then now inherits second place and the race lead now as Vitols goes joker at the end of lap 5. So through the hairpin goes the Latvian driver. Now where is he going to emerge? It's going to be really close actually as he comes back onto the track here with Julian Godfrey. They run side by side on the exit of the corner, and Vitols manages to get the overcut perfectly then on Julian Godfrey and is now sitting in second position as they come onto the final lap. So a perfect joker strategy then here from Robert Vitols, proving once again why he is held in such high esteem in the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship here. But what about Derek Tohill then? He is doing an absolutely superlative job out on track here, and he's only got a couple of corners separating him from an amazing win in 2021. Out of the final corner comes Derek Tohill, over the line he goes, and he wins round 5 of the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship then here at Knockhill in Scotland. Robert Vitols comes home in second. Julian Godfrey finishes in third. Ollie O'Donovan P4. After such a promising start, the Northern Irishman will be so disappointed with a P4 finish ahead of Steve Hill and Tristan Ovenden. Mike Seller will come home 7th and last on the grid. But once again, another brilliant drive from Derek Tohill. He wins the final of round 5 here in Scotland. The Irishman is absolutely elated with that result, and I am not surprised at all, because that has been a very welcome result for him, just as a matter of fact, because of course he hasn't really had any strong results since the opening weekend of the year at Linden Hill. Yesterday, he ended up in the barrier at one point, and I really thought that might have been his weekend over. Managed to get the car repaired, got it all turned around, and now the following day he goes and wins round 5 here in Scotland. A great result from Derek Tohill, and another supreme weekend of racing here at Knockhill in Scotland for the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship.
That smile says it all. That was a very sweet win.
Yeah, I tried to make sure we had a smile after the finals. It's a big fight off the start line with Ollie. I knew it would be, but I didn't let him bully me. I held my ground, and it was great.
It's a development year for the All 4 Minis, with David Bell leading the way, winning the first 4 rounds out of 5. But after suffering gearbox issues in the final, Adrian Turner took the win in round 5. However, Martin Hawkes claimed the championship by just a 2-point margin. In the Super 1600s, Craig Lomax won 4 rounds overall, with Darren Scott taking round 2 and Nick Snoys at the Linden opener. Darren Scott led until Knockhill, but mechanical woes enabled Lomax to take the lead in the standings. Scott's final round win at Linden Hill sadly was not enough for him to overhaul Craig Lomax, as the Yorkshireman claimed the championship in the Super 1600 class for 2021. In the Super Retro category in 2021, it was Barry Stewart who led the way at the start of the season, but he had a far from easy campaign, taking only 2 out of 7 possible wins. It was John Cross who won the first 2 rounds at Linden Hill, but Stewart's strong qualifying there gave him the edge on the points. The competition, though, really amped up as we went to Knockhill in Scotland. There were plenty of thrills and spills on track, and excitement in the fight for first place in the standings as well as in the final.
It's all action stations at the front now because John Cross is coming under pressure from Vince Bristow. All the while that drama was going on, this has been taking place at the front here, and Bristow is now ahead on the final lap of John Cross. So whether Cross has got a problem, he's certainly slowing in that Lancia Stratos, and Vince Bristow is going to come through to take an unlikely win in the Super Retro final. Out of the final corner, punches it to the line, and Vince Bristow in the 97 wins the Super Retro final here at Tohill.
That win for Bristow closed the gap between him and Stewart to just 9 points as they headed into the final round back at Lydden Hill, where the drama didn't let up.
Fantastic start then from James Harold, who leads the way here with Josh Sturkins just in behind. And as you can see, Phil Collard is already... P3 is a wheel missing! The VW Beetle has lost a wheel here. The wheel is still travelling in the background. Oh, that is heartbreaking for the Volkswagen Beetle. The wheel is still travelling in the background. We hope that's managed to stop and hit a fence. John Cross, of course, not got off the line as well. Not been a fantastic start here at all.
It was a final that was littered with breakdowns and non-starters, but it was Jos Sturkins in his Mark 1 Ford Escort who eventually won round 7. However, despite everybody else's great pace in the final round of the season, it was not enough to stop Barry Stewart claiming the championship overall in the Super Retro class.
Champion of the Super Retros. Just put into words what this means to you, Barry.
Really pleased that we've got there. We've had a very good season. Car's been reliable. It's had a few hissy fits today, but last one it would do. Yeah, just really pleased and happy to pick up a trophy. You can't beat Retro, to be honest. It's such a great bunch of guys. It's close racing. Nothing of the cars are the same. There's such a diverse field.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Front three on the grid then. Jack Thorne on pole position, second then Tohill. It is Ollie O'Donovan in third spot. It is indeed the Five Nations British Rallycross final here at Lydden Hill. It's round 6. And as we come down in towards turn number 1, championship leader is going to get ahead of Tohill. He does! So Donovan does take the lead of this race. Tohill in second. And the man of the day, Jack Thorne, is only in P3. It's 6 laps though. Plenty of time to indeed get back up into the lead. But Ollie O'Donovan, oh, he saves it to when it means something. It's the final. Ollie O'Donovan is Mr. Final, and he is absolutely on fire here at Lydden Hill. As they come down Harry Hill then at the end of lap number 1, you can see the front 3 then are very closely packed together, a completely different order as to what they started. Ollie O'Donovan still leading the way through that final chicane here. Who's going to come into the Joker here? None of them. All 3 have decided to stay out, so this is going to become a race between all 3 of them. Tohill, effectively, he doesn't have to get ahead of Ollie O'Donovan, but it would be great for the championship if he indeed did. Vitols then comes through the Joker, along with Tristan Ovenden. So they're both through here. And again, they've both got some nice clear air to work with. Vitols, by the way, has won 2 events. One of those events was round 1 at Lydden Hill. He's had all sorts of problems during this weekend, but he was fastest in free practice. Expect Vitols to close up towards the top 3. It is still O'Donovan that leads the way then in P1. It is still Tohill in P2. And then in third spot then, it is indeed Jack Thorne. And P2 and P3 are both into the Joker here. So O'Donovan, this is brilliant for him. They both come into the Joker. So I would imagine he comes in next lap. But can he put the work in? Oh, it's a great Joker there from Tohill. And to be fair, from Thorne, his exit's superb. But they filter in behind Vitols. Vitols is ahead of them. And will he be ahead of the race leader? O'Donovan then still out on circuit. Vitols has had one of the worst days possible, but has he got it right when it matters? This is incredible stuff here. We're on lap number 3 on 6. We've still got half the race to go. And what is going to happen here? O'Donovan has to put in some absolute flyers. He has to put in some absolute flyers here. Vitols has won 2 rounds this season. Tohill's won 2 rounds this season. Godfrey's won 1 round this season. Could Vitols potentially be a 3-round winner this season? Oh, there we go, there's the merge. Oh, Vitols is flying. Vitols is absolutely flying. O'Donovan comes out, he merges next door then to Tohill. These two, of course, P1 and P2 in the championship. O'Donovan gets the position, spins the car, half spin, holds onto it, runs wide, onto the grass he goes. Oh, he's going to lose out to Thorne as well. Ovenden through as well. Oh, so Ovenden now makes the position up here. O'Donovan then makes a late left up the inside. There's contact between the two. Down the hill they come. And all of a sudden then, it's going to be another position lost here, I feel. Incredible scenes here. It's a championship leader. Ollie O'Donovan is just having a terrible day. It's not going to work out in this final. But there's one driver that doesn't care. It's Vitols. He leads the way. He leads by a country mile. Jack Thorne, who's been the driver of the day, he's had so much pace. He's only P3. Tohill, this is perfect for him. He is only, what, 7 points behind? By the end of the day, he could be leading this championship. We've only got 1 lap remaining after this. As you can see the glow on the brakes here. Oh, you can see the Ferris wheel in the background as well here at Linden Hill. It is a beautiful setting for some racing action. It's a beautiful setting for Vitols, who I think has not got any challenge whatsoever. Again, they had a proper problem with the steering. They had no power steering. They had to get parts for the car sent from hours away. They were delivered on the day. Hal Rich looks like it's going to be a DNF for him. But Vitols wasn't even going to make it to the semi-finals. But ultimately, they fixed the car with some magic. He's got to the semi-finals. He just about clawed his way into the final. And Vitols then has just turned on the afterburners. We're coming up towards the final couple of corners here, and it's going to be a win here. Robert Vitols is going to take the checkered flag. He's going to win round 6 here at Linden Hill. Nearly loses it, but what a race victory it is for him. It is going to be second position then for indeed Tohill. It is going to be Thorne, sorry. It's going to be, Tohill, Ovenden, Hill, Scheller. Vitols is the winner. An incredible, incredible performance. One of the best performances I've ever seen in a supercar. Incredible.
I knew it was going to be close with Ollie. And when he took his joker and rejoined, he kind of came across on me. Yeah, was pushing me wide towards big white tractor tyres, so I was happy to avoid that. And then I think Ollie spun in that process on his own. And so it was a bit frantic, and come the end I'd no brake pedal left, but we got to the end, and to get third was amazing.
I think Rallycross needs races like this when you have dark, when you have some action, something different. So I think it's just great entertainment for all the fans and for the sport in general.
In the Suzuki Swift Championship, it was Luke Constantine who took the early lead in the standings, with Max Weatherley eagerly awaiting in the wings. A tussle for points as the competition headed to Knockhill for rounds 4 and 5, where Luke and his cousin James had a very nasty run-in with David Watt out on track.
And there's so much undulation through there as well that it really does make it quite tricky. And you can see there, oh, massive contact, a huge incident there. The door was shut by David Watt, and James Constantine into the wall, into the side of Luke Constantine there as well. Smoke pouring out of the Suzuki Swifts. Max Weatherley comes over the line to take the checkered flag in the final for the Suzuki Swifts, but massive drama there. David Watt just didn't look in his mirrors, didn't see what was going on there, didn't see that James Constantine was trying to send it through up the inside, and a huge coming together involving 3 cars at the end of the final in the Suzuki Swift. Big drama. Those are the stakes in Rallycross. They're always pretty high. The main thing is that all the drivers are out and okay following that crash, but, well, a frightening end to the Suzuki Swift final here in Knockhill.
That incident made it a bit of an uphill battle for Luke Constantine, whilst Max Weatherley won both rounds at Knockhill and took a final victory back at Lidenhill for round 7, which was enough to give Weatherley the championship. Luke, though, managed to recover to second place in the standings, with David Watt claiming third once the season was done and dusted.
That race at the end just summed up my whole season of just battling the best people in this class, having the best time, best races, and it just went my way that time, and it was just awesome. I had to fight real hard. I gave it everything. The guys have given it everything, and we've come away with it, and I never expected that. Been trying to do this for years to get this kind of result, and the car has been superb. That is a perfect bit of kit. This is a perfect championship. 5 Nations is awesome, and yeah, it's mega. It's a perfect day.
Max Langmaid had an auspicious start to the Junior Swift season, winning one race with his bonnet completely open and blocking his windscreen. Owen Robbins then took the first victory of the year, but from there on in, it was the Langmaid show all the way, with him winning the next 6 finals. You can see the action out on track here in the Junior Swift Championship, once again proving to be a very closely fought affair with all our competitors as they came across the timing line. As with many of the races though this year, it was Knockhill where the championship's real drama took place, with round 5 stopping not once but twice after incidents out on the circuit.
And the red flag is out at the end of the running of this first final, and that is because that is the 152 of Caitlin May, who's on her side, so she's had her coming together with the tyre barrier.
The whole grid went into the second corner like all bunched up. There was nowhere to move, and where you go around the left, like everyone was coming out wider, and I was getting pushed further out wide into the tyres, and the guy behind me obviously didn't realise, and he's just didn't give in, and he's just drove straight into the back of me and pushed my car into the tyres.
You feeling all right in yourself though?
I'm fine, yeah, a bit of a sore neck, but get better, won't it?
Oh, the joy of being young and bouncing back quickly. There was more rough racing at the start of the second run for the round 5 final at Knockhill as well, with things grinding to a halt yet again after another red flag was thrown on the first lap.
And over goes Corey Paget. Huge drama again here in the Suzuki Swift. So 2 races, 2 first lap incidents, and Corey Paget's car goes tumbling over on the gravel. Laura Vitols, the Latvian driver, also involved. Unsurprisingly, the red flag is thrown again on lap 1 of the Suzuki Swifts. Thankfully, Corey Paget is up and okay and trying to get out of the car already. But once again, Knockhill throws a spanner in the works.
And as if that wasn't enough contact for the Junior Swift drivers, they had a bit more in the next running of the race. You can see Owen Robbins in front here with Finlay Scott, the Scotsman, alongside him. Those two coming to contact, Robbins ending up in the tyre wall on the inside of the final corner. Max Langmaid, of course, took the win, his 5th in a row ahead of the final round back at Lidenhill, where things got off once again to another dramatic start in the Junior Swift Championship.
Max Langmaid makes a move then for the lead, and Vitols into the wall. It's a big shunt there. Oh no, this is not good at all. Ovenden and Langmaid do have contact, so Langmaid's tried to make a move around the outside, and unfortunately he just wasn't far enough ahead. He's kind of pit moving himself.
Well, thankfully the race did start again, and this time Langmaid had a clear run to the win as well, taking first place and being crowned the 2021 Junior Swift Rallycross champion. An amazing performance from the young driver, and surely a star of the future.
It's amazing. I can't explain how much it means to us. We're only a small team, run from home, and round after round, team comes through and they give us the card to bring it home, and it just feels so nice to be able to win the title in the British Rallycross.
Welcome to the 5 Nations British Rallycross Championship Round 7 finale here at Lidenhill. It's the final race of the weekend. O'Donovan and Tohill are tied in the championship, both on 165 points. Oh, this is going to be an absolute cracker. Marshall steps away then. 8 drivers battling it out to win round number 7 of the 5 Nations British Rallycross Championship. When we are green light racing, and Thorne's got a terrible start here. Tohill will go into Cheshunt's Drift into P1. Brilliant start then from him. Godfrey and I believe Ollie O'Donovan have both gone through the Joker here. So there we have it. Into the lead of the race time, it is Tohill. Thorne will be looking to indeed try and get up ahead. Thorne has been so quick in both rounds this weekend, but ultimately it's come to the final and it's just gone wrong. So already down for P2. Watch out for Vitols. There's Hal Ridge with a late lunge up the inside of Ovenden. Hal Ridge is going to move off and actually run a long way wide. He will have to filter back in to P6. The front 3 though have kind of got a nice clear run here, but who's going to decide? The Joker. It's a six lap race here, so they can stay out as long as they want. Thorne comes in and that frees up Vitols. Can the Latvian produce it once again? As they come out of Cheshunt's Drift then through the Dover slope. You can see then the Thorne, is he up ahead of everybody who has indeed Joker? He is. He's ahead of Godfrey. Godfrey's car was coming apart in the semi-finals. It's still coming apart now, and it is now the lead for Tohill. So Tohill stretching his legs out in front here as we come up to the top of Hairy Hill, grabbing a little bit of grass there, try and help with the rotation of the car. And Vitols again just in behind. He's a specialist here on the paddock bend in towards the gravel section, then sliding that car almost full sideways through then the chicane they come, and they're still staying out on the main circuit here. No Joker for the front 2, and as you can see in the background then Ovenden is now going to start to slow down Jack Thorne. So here we go through the Devil's Elbow once again. Vitols just with 3 laps remaining after this needs to start trying to make some inroads on Tohill. Tohill is in, well, he's in the golden seat right now. He's got that golden ticket. Can he potentially go out and take the victory? It's going to be close between these 2. But Tohill is doing all of the hard work right now. Jack Thorne is being held up. Ovenden is holding him up here. So the longer this goes on, the more chance of it being between these 2. It's as simple as that. You can see that Vitols is pushing this car then. He's super sideways on the exit then of the Dover slope. He is probably as close as he's been all race here. Under braking, he's figured something out. Vitols is definitely closing in here. Oh, this is going to be super, super close. As we come up Hairy Hill, up towards the apex here, Tohill still holds the lead though. He still holds the lead. Needs to hold his nerve now as well. And Vitols is definitely closing in. The Latvian who won round 1, who's won round number 6, can he potentially put the pressure on here and win round number 7? So as you can see then, Jack Thorne has indeed got up into P3. As the leader and P2 come through the Joker section here. Oh, Jack Thorne's got it. He wasn't held up enough. He's taken the lead. I can't believe it. What an incredible lap. As soon as he's got past Ovenden, he's found that extra edge. He's been the standout this weekend. It didn't go right for him in the final yesterday, but all of a sudden then, Jack Thorne is in the lead of this race. They've got 1 more lap remaining here. He's in the lead then. Tohill in 2nd position. Vitols is in 3rd spot. Godfrey holds on to 4th, and O'Donovan not having a good time here. It's even further behind. Jack Thorne out of nowhere, I can't believe it. It looked like he's being held up by Ovenden, but Ovenden must have been flying as well. And all of a sudden then Thorne with a big opportunity here of winning this race. Look at Vitols, look how close he is to Tohill. He's opening up Cheshunt's Drift the best he possibly can on the power early through the gravel section here as well. Remember, Thorne is a guest driver, so these 2 are battling out for the P1 points. Not the P1 trophy, but the P1 points. So in terms of the championship, this is incredible action. Thorne, though, is coming up towards the apex at the top of Hairy Hill. Oh, he's been a standout, this lad has. He's been incredible this weekend so far. The final of round 6 did not go his way. He managed to get P2, but boy, Super Sunday has come strong here for Thorne. He's taken the checkered flag. He will take the victory here of round 7 of the 5 Nations British Rallycross. In 2nd spot, there will be Tohill. That is huge for him. Vitols, he tried everything, but indeed it will only be P3 today. Godfrey is going to finish in P4. O'Donovan P5. Ovenden in 6th. Ridge then in 7th. And Hill out in 8th position. What a race. What a spectacle.
Mega. Great rallycross race. Could race really good, fair and hard with Jack. He's a smart young kid. And yeah, really good to race, good, clean and hard with him.
For me to come back to Rallycross is what I need to do, definitely, for sure. It's yeah, I can't describe these machines, they're unreal. So to be able to drive this calibre of car and bring it home for a win today, yeah, amazing. I'll definitely be back, and first time in the car, so there's more to come, I'm sure.
Team did a great job.
Car was great all weekend, massive haul of points. See what happens next.
As ever, you are Mr. Consistent, aren't you?
Mr. Consistent. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. It's yeah, we've been working hard and trying to stay consistent. It's not easy, but yeah, there was a time where they had consistency on the steering wheel, and I was looking at it all the time, so it must have paid off.
A huge congratulations to Derek Tohill on becoming the 2021 Five Nations British Rallycross champion. We're already looking forward to getting in gear and back on track though in 2022. A huge thank you must go to our presenter for this season's coverage, Sam Lloyd, and also to the team up in the commentary box of David Addison, Luke Crane and myself, Tom Brooks as well. We really appreciate your company throughout this season. Anyway, we'll see you again next year, but we'll leave you with some highlights of the biggest thrills and spills on track in the Five Nations British Rallycross Championship. Bye for now.